A warm welcome to this session. According to this, under AICT Prerana scheme, our college is conducting a GATE classes, and today's session is about solid mechanics. In this solid mechanics, I am going to take the topic as stress and strain relationship. So I am Fatima Daras Crazy, working as assistant professor in civil engineering and in Erode Sengundar Engineering College, Tamil Nadu. So in solid mechanics, I'm going to teach about the simple stress and strain relationship topic. So first let me see what is stress. A stress is the internal resistance offered by a body to the external load applied to it per unit cross-sectional area. As we know that in mechanics of deformable solids, externally applied forces acts on a body and body suffers as a deformation. We cannot see the stress. It is induced inside itself. We can't able to see the stress. So that is we call it as stress. When the external load is applied, that is we call it as force. So the normally the stress will be expressed in sigma, where sigma is equal to P by A and or F by A. So P is the force and sigma is the stress and F is the force, A is the cross-sectional area. The unit of the stress is Newton per meter square or Newton per mm square. So these are the various types of stress. So types of stress, it is divided into two category. One is normal stress, another one is shear stress. In normal stress, there are two types. One is tensile stress, another one is compressive stress. Always the tensile will be positive, the compression will be negative. Let me explain this sketch diagram. The types of stresses, tensional stress. It is a pulling action. When the force is acted on external body, it is a pulling action. So tension occur in this area. Hence, it is called it as tensional stress. And here, see the arrow mark. It is in the pushing action. So this one we call it as compressional stress. So we can able to see the compression, the failure will be occur like this. And then third one is shear stress. So shearing action will be like sliding action, sliding with each other. Okay. So sliding with each other so that the shear stress will be developed in between these surfaces. So here some more examples. Tension will be in pulling action, compression will be in pushing action, so that the bulge area will be like this. Here it is elongating. The original length is elongated up to some extent. And the shear action will be sliding each other and flexural action. So flexural action will be when external force is acting on downward side, some internal forces, some reactions will be is in opposite direction, so that the load will be emitted by these reactions. So we can able to see the structure like this using the cylinders, the compression, tension, shear, and then bending. So bending, the structure will get like a collapsible, and then it is slightly bending. So torsion will be a twisting movement will be occurred around the surface, around the structure. So let me see the strain. So strain is the deformation of a material from stress. It is simply a ratio of the change in length to the original length. The deformations that are applied perpendicular to the cross section or normal strains, while deformations applied parallel to the cross section or shear strains. So there are two more strains are here. One is normal strain, another one is shear strains. So normal strains will be when the load is applied, the deformation will be applied along the perpendicular direction. So that we called it as normal strain. So when the deformation is applied parallel to the cross section, that we called it as shear strains. So normally the shear strain is normally the strain is change in length to the original length. It has no unit. When the load is applied on any surface, some deformations will be occur. Whether it may be in a longitudinal direction or lateral direction. So if it is occurred in the longitudinal direction, that we call it as longitudinal strain. And then if it is occurred in the circular portion or lateral direction, it will be called it as lateral strain. So according to this longitudinal and lateral strain, the Poisson's ratio will be calculated. Since the Poisson's ratio is the ratio between lateral strain to the longitudinal strain. So here see a common rod is here. The original length of the rod is taken as L. When it is uniaxially loaded, so some extension is occurred in this here. So when the load is applied in the inner direction, some extension will be there. So that extension part is called it as delta, since the strain is equal to change in length by original length. It has no unit. So let me see the types of strain. So one is longitudinal strain, another one is volumetric strain. So longitudinal strain, if the deforming force produces a change in length alone, the strain produced in the body is called longitudinal strain. The longitudinal strain is also called as tensile strain. So as it is a pulling action, we can able to we can as it is a pulling action, we can able to say it is also called it as a tensile strain. Okay. Then next one is volumetric strain. So volumetric strain is that if the deforming force produces a change in volume alone, the strain produced in the body is called volumetric strain. So the total body, the total, whether it is a cylinder or square in shape or rectangular in shape, the whole surface will get deformation. So that the dimension will be in three, that is x-axis and then y-axis and z-axis. When the load is applied on the surface, along with the three directions, there will be a mass change. So that we call it as volumetric strain. So volume alone will be produced, so that we call it as volumetric strain. So the one important definition in this is elastic limit. So the maximum stress to which the body can regain its original status on the removal of the deforming force is called elastic limit. So elastic limit is that where the maximum stress is applied. So when the force is acting on any body, so the stress will be developed at a maximum extent. So while removing the deforming force, we call it as elastic limit. The elastic limit it was derived by the Hooke, hence it is called it as Hooke's law. It states that within the elastic limit, the ratio of the stress to the corresponding strain produced is a constant. So stress to strain will be the ratio. So that ratio we call it as Young's modulus or modulus of elasticity. It is always expressed in Newton per mm square. So according to this Hooke's law, the stress is directly proportional to the strain, but within the elastic limit. It should not go upon to the elastic limit. It should be within the elastic limit. Hence, it is called it as modulus of elasticity or Young's modulus. So we can graphically we can see when the rod is tested, we have to draw a diagram or graphical. The x-axis to be taken as strain and y-axis to be taken as stress. So stress is indicated as sigma and strain is indicated as d. Okay. So first thing is first initial stages. It is the A part, yield stress, yield strength, and again when the load is applied, some ultimate strength will be developed, and again the load is developed, and after that this is the breaking point. Here at last the rod get fractured. So in between yield strength to the ultimate strength, we call it a strain hardening. In between the ultimate strength to the fracture, we call it as snaking. So the Young's modulus will be taken as here rise by run. That is, rise is indicated as stress, run is indicated as strain. So stress by strain. So A is the proportional limit and B is the elastic limit and C is the yield point and D is the ultimate point and then E is the breaking point. According to the stress strain diagram, we have to mention the point A, B, C and then D, E. So let me see the basic terms of the stress and strain relationship. So first thing is Young's modulus. It is defined as the mechanical property of a material to withstand the compression or the elongation with respect to its original length. It is denoted by E or Y. Most probably we use capital E and then it is indicated as elasticity. Hence it is indicated the letter as E. The Young's modulus E can be written as stress by strain. So the formula is according to the stress, the symbol is sigma and strain is E. So capital E is equal to stress by strain. Since the strain has no unit, the stress has the unit of Newton per meter square. So the unit of the Young's modulus is also same as the stress, that is Newton per meter square or Newton per mm square. So let me see the model problem to determine the Young's modulus. So find out the Young's modulus value of the material whose elastic stress and strains are 4 Newton per meter square and 0.3 respectively. Here they ask you to find out the Young's modulus and then in the problem it is given clearly it is given the stress value and then strain value, isn't it? So stress value is 4 Newton per meter square and strain value is 0.3. So the formula for the Young's modulus is stress by strain. So stress value is 4 and then strain value is 0.3. When you calculate this, you will get the Young's modulus. The solution is 4 by 0.3. You will get the answer as 13.33 Newton per meter square. Instead of meter square, I had here written as m to the power minus 2. So next term is bulk modulus. When a body is subjected to mutually perpendicular direct stresses which are alike and equal within the elastic limits, the ratio of the direct stress to the corresponding volumetric strain. So the bulk modulus is direct stress to the volumetric strain. We called it as bulk modulus. It is always found to be constant. So it is called it as bulk modulus and it is represented by the letter as K. So the unit of the Young's modulus is also Newton per meter square or else megapascal or gigapascal. So 1 Pascal is equal to 1 Newton per meter square. So 1 megapascal means 10 to the power 6 Newton per meter square. If it is gigapascal, 10 to the power 9 Newton per meter square. See, we can easily see in this diagram. A bulk modulus is when you are taking a cubical surface, the volumetric strain will be applicable to the whole, x direction, y direction, then z direction. Here we can see when the direct stress is applied here, the volumetric strain is when the load is applied on the surface, see the imaginary lines, there is a change in both 3 directions, x-axis, y-axis and then z-axis. So the bulk modulus is the ratio between direct stress to the volumetric strain. So it is denoted by the letter as K. So next term is rigidity modulus. So rigidity modulus is that when a body is subjected to a shear stress, the shape of the body gets changed. The ratio of the shear stress. Normally, modulus of elasticity is nothing but stress by strain. The same thing, if it is a rigidity modulus, it is the ratio between shear stress to the shear strain. So the shear stress to the shear strain is called it as rigidity modulus or else shear modulus or else modulus of rigidity. So we can name it as 3 and then it is also denoted by the letter as G, C or N. So the unit of the shear modulus or rigidity modulus is Newton per meter square or else megapascal or gigapascal. See, normally the shear stress will be like this. It is sliding on left to the right side, sliding with each other. When the load is applied here, so the movement will be like this. You can able to see the original position and the imaginary part. So slightly when the load is applied here, the movement will be out to left to right direction. So this sliding action we called it as shear modulus. So rigidity modulus is denoted as G or C or N. It is the ratio between shear stress to the shear strain. So let's see the important definition as Poisson's ratio. So Poisson's ratio is that when a body is subjected to simple tensile stress within the elastic limits, then there is a change in the dimension of the body in the direction of the load as well as in the opposite direction. When these changed direction, when these changed dimensions are divided with the original dimensions, longitudinal strain and lateral strains are obtained. So lateral strain will be in the circular shape and then longitudinal strain will be in the lengthwise longitudinal strain. So it is the Poisson's ratio is denoted as mu. So the mu will be lateral strain to the longitudinal strain. Next, we can see the relationship between elastic constants. The relationship between Young's modulus, rigidity modulus, and Poisson's ratio can be expressed as capital E is equal to 2G into 1 plus mu. So, since G is, we all know that G is rigidity modulus, E is Young's modulus, and mu is the Poisson's ratio. So, the relationship between Young's modulus, bulk modulus, and then Poisson's ratio. So that is capital E is equal to 3K into 1 minus 2 mu. Then the relationship between the Poisson's ratio in terms of bulk modulus and rigidity modulus can be written as mu is equal to 3K minus 2G divided by 6K plus 2G. So let me see the problems. So according to just relationship, we have to solve some problems so that it will be easy to analyze this paper. First problem is a square steel rod 20 mm by 20 mm in section is to carry an axial load. So that axial load is given as compressive load of 100 kilonewton. Calculate the shortening in a length of 50 mm. Take E is equal to 2.14 into 10 to the power 8 kilonewton per meter square. So first thing is we have to write down the given. So area is given as 0.02. We have to calculate the area as B into B or A into A. So we can easily arrive the area and then length is given in meter. We have to convert all units as the same thing. So if it is meter, we have to convert all the dimensions in meter. So load is given as 100 kilonewton and X modulus is given as 2.14 into 10 to the power 8 kilonewton per meter square. So the first thing is we have to find out the stress. So the formula for stress is P by A. So load is given, area we found there. So after calculating, we will get the answer as 250,000 kilonewton per meter square. So as we already know, Young's modulus is stress by strain. So we know the value for stress and then Young's modulus. We don't know the value for strain. So while substituting here, so E is equal to stress by strain. Strain can be written as stress by Young's modulus. So while substituting, we will get the strain value. So normally we know that strain is change in length by original length. We know the strain value and then we know the original length. So while substituting this, we will get the delta L, that is change in length can be arrived. So it is arrived in mm. So we are converting this mm into meter. So next problem is a hollow cast iron cylinder, 4 meter long, 300 mm outer diameter, and the thickness of metal 0.05 meter is subjected to a central load on the top when standing straight. The stress produced is 75,000 kilonewton per meter square. Assume Young's modulus for cast iron as 1.5 into 10 to the power 8 kilonewton per meter square and find the magnitude of the load, longitudinal strain produced and total decrease in length. So in this problem, we have to find out the three criteria. We have to find out the three criteria. We have to find out the magnitude of the load and then longitudinal strain produced and then total decrease in the length. So first thing is we have to find what are the givens are here. So length is given as 4 meter. The outer diameter is given as it is mentioned as hollow cast iron. So we know the outer diameter and the thickness is given. So by having these two criteria, we can easily able to find out the internal diameter. So capital diameter D minus 2 times of the thickness, you will get the small diameter. And then stress is given here. Young's modulus is given. So we have to find out the magnitude of the load, longitudinal strain, and then total decrease in the length. So first thing is we have to write the given. So first small d is to be arrived. So small d is capital D minus 2 times of the t, and that is 0.3 minus 2 into thickness is 0.05, so that we will get 0.2 meter. After finding this small diameter, we have to calculate the area. So here in the problem it is given as hollow circular pipe. So that the area will be pi by 4 into capital D square minus small d square. So pi by 4 into capital D square minus small d square, you will get the area. So stress is load by area. So to determine the load, the stress can be multiplied by area so that you will get the load in terms of kilonewton. So after that, we know the Young's modulus and then stress. By using this, you can easily find out the strain. As we know the formula as stress, Young's modulus is stress by strain, isn't it? So Young's modulus is stress by strain. So to determine the strain, we can write stress by Young's modulus. So stress already given in the problem, and then strain Young's modulus is also given. So by using this, we can easily find out the strain. So after finding the strain, we have to find out the total decrease in length. So strain formula is change in length by original length. You know the strain value and then original length is also known. Actual thing is we don't know the change in length. By using this, we can able to find out the change in length, that is delta L. So the delta L will be 0.002 meter. So next problem is the following observations were made during a tensile stress. So during a tensile test on a mild steel specimen 40 mm in diameter and 200 mm long, elongation with 40 kilonewton load within limit of proportionality, change in length is given as 0.0304 mm. Yield load is given as 161 kilonewton. Maximum load is 242 kilonewton. And then length of the specimen at fracture is 249 mm. We have to determine the Young's modulus, yield point stress, ultimate stress, and then percentage of elongation. So we have to find out the four things in this problem. So while doing a practical test, that is tensile test on mild steel, we have to find out all these things. The yield load and maximum load is also to be determined by having this two loads. We have to find out the Young's modulus and then yield point stress, ultimate stress, and then percentage of the elongation. So first thing is we have to write down the given. So length is given as 200 mm, and then diameter is given as 40 mm, and then elongation is with 40 kilonewton load is given, and then change in length is given, yield load, maximum load, and length of the specimen at where it is fractured. So that thing also is given. So only thing is we have to find out the stress, Young's modulus, and then percentage of the elongation. So to determine the Young's modulus, the stress value is P by A. So first thing is we know that the Young's modulus formula is stress by strain. So to determine the stress, there is a formula. So sigma is equal to P by A. So we know the P value 40 is given and then diameter is given. As it is a circular shape, we have to substitute the circular area as pi by 4 into d square. Okay. So while substituting, you will get the answer as 3.18 into 10 to the power 4 kilonewton per meter square. And then strain is change in length by original length. We know the change in length. We know the change in length is given as 0.0304. And then original length is also given as 200. Isn't it? 2 meter long is given. So while substituting this, you will get the answer as strain. So we know that Young's modulus is equal to stress by strain. After finding the stress value and then strain value, while substitute these two values, you will get the Young's modulus. The Young's modulus is also called it as modulus of elasticity. So then next thing is we have to find out the yield point stress. So yield point stress is normally we know the stress is load by area. So to determine the yield point stress, the formula is yield point load divided by area. So in the problem itself, it is given that yield point load value is 161 kilonewton, and then maximum load value is also given as 242 kilonewton. By using these two values, you are just substituting these values in this term, and then area is same, pi by 4 into d square. The d value is given as 0.04. While substituting this, you will get the answer as 12.8 into 10 to the power 4 kilonewton per meter square. And then ultimate stress is also can be determined by using this formula, maximum load to the area. So maximum load is given as 242. And then while substituting the same area, you will get the answer as 19.2 into 10 to the power 4 kilonewton per meter square. So after finding all these, you have to find out the percentage of elongation. So percentage of elongation is the formula, the length of the specimen at fraction change in length. So in the problem itself, it is given, isn't it? So it is given the length of the specimen at fracture is 249 mm. So 249 minus original length is given as 200, and then change in length is 20. So change in length is given as 20. So while substituting, you will get the answer as percentage of elongation as 24.5 percentage. So next problem is a hollow cast iron cylinder having 4 meter long and 300 mm outer diameter and thickness of 30 metal is subjected to a central load on the top. When standing straight, the stress product is 75,000 kilonewton per meter square. And then Young's modulus of the cast iron is 1.5 into 10 to the power 3 kilonewton per meter square. So we have to find out the magnitude of the load and then longitudinal strain. And the third one is total decrease in length. So as we have already solved this problem, the same method, but having a different specifications. So first thing is we have to find out the stress. Stress is load by area. So we know that stress is given and then load is load divided by area. Area is pi by 4 into capital D square minus small d square. So capital D is given here 300 by 1000. You will convert this thing as in terms of meter. So that is 0.3 meter. So small diameter is equal to capital D minus 2 times of the thickness. So area can be calculated as pi by 4 into capital D square minus small d square. While substituting, you will get the answer as 0.0392 meter square. So next thing is load. Load can be determined as stress into area. So while substituting, you will get the answer as load. And then stress is also the same thing. Young's modulus is stress by strain. So while substituting, you will get the strain. And after finding this strain, the strain formula is delta L by original length. So while substituting, you will get the delta L value. So next topic is we are going to see the elastic constants as we have already studied. By using this, we have to remember these elastic constants. They may ask you in the objective type. So the relationship between the Young's modulus, shear modulus, and Poisson's ratio is the first one. So E is equal to 2C into 1 plus mu. And then second one is the relationship between Young's modulus, bulk modulus, and then Poisson's ratio. So capital A is equal to 3K into 1 minus 2 mu. So then the relationship between the Young's modulus, shear modulus, and then bulk modulus. So capital E is equal to 9Kc divided by 3K plus C. So next topic is we are going to see about the thermal stresses. So thermal stresses is, it may be occur due to the contraction or extension of the bar. So the temperature of the body will be changed. Check that stresses thus developed in the body are called temperature stresses. So the extension in the bar due to rise in temperature will be alpha into T2 minus T1 into F. So the strain can be calculated as alpha stress by strain. So the strain will be alpha into T2 minus T1 into L divided by L, so that you will get alpha into T2 minus T1. Meter long is at a temperature of 15 Celsius. Find the free expansion of the length when the temperature is raised to 65 degrees Celsius. Find the temperature stress produced. So first condition is the expansion of the rod is prevented, and then second condition is the rod is permitted to expand by 6 mm. So take alpha is equal to 12 into 10 to the power minus 6 per degree, and E is given as 200 giganewton per meter square. So giganewton per meter square means if you convert this in terms of Newton per meter square, the value will be 200 into 10 to the power 9. So first thing is we have to write the given data. So given is L is 15 meter and T1 and T2 is given. Initial temperature is given and then final temperature is given. So initial temperature is 15 degrees Celsius and then final temperature is 65 degrees Celsius. So while converting this giganewton in terms of Newton per meter square, the value will be 200 into 10 to the power 9 Newton per meter square. So first thing is we have to find out the rod. If it is expansion is fully prevented, when the rod is permitted to expand by 6 mm. So two conditions, for these two conditions we have to find out the expansion. So the free expansion formula we have already seen in the previous chapter itself, thermal stresses, that alpha is alpha into T2 minus T1 into L. So alpha value is given us. So normally the alpha value will be coefficient of thermal expansion. It is a standard value. That is 12 into 10 to the power minus 6 is a standard value. What is the temperature is at 2 is given 65 and then temperature at 1 is 15. Okay. So into length is 15 meter. So while calculating this, you will get the answer as in terms of meter. You can convert that thing into mm. So first condition is when the expansion is fully prevented. So temperature stress value is alpha into T2 minus T1 into E. So alpha value is 12 into 10 to the power minus 6 into T2 minus T1 into Young's modulus. If you calculate this, you will get the answer as 120 into 10 to the power 6 Newton per meter square. So next condition is when the rod is permitted to expand by 6 mm. So the expansion is here. We got the free expansion is 9 mm, isn't it? So in the problem itself, it is given 6 mm expanded. So while subtract this 9 from 6, you will get the expansion prevented as 3 mm. So strain is expansion prevented by original length. So expansion prevented is 3 and then original length is 15, isn't it? 15 meter. Here the 3 is in mm. So while converting this 15 in terms of mm, thus we are multiplying this 15 by 1000. So when you divide this, the value will be 0.0002. So temperature stress is strain into Young's modulus. So strain value we have already arrived into Young's modulus. We will get the temperature stress as 40 into 10 to the power 6 Newton per meter square. So next the problem is we are going to see the composite bars. Okay, so composite bars is nothing but it is a combination of the two materials. We will call it as composite bars. A steel bar is placed between two copper bars, each having the same area and length as steel bar at 20 degrees Celsius. At this stage, they are rigidly connected together at both the ends. When the temperature is raised to 320 degrees Celsius, determine the final stresses in the bars. Take ES is equal to 220 giganewton per meter square and EC is equal to 110 giganewton per meter square. So ES is Young's modulus of steel and EC represents the Young's modulus of copper. Okay. So whether the combination will be steel to copper or copper to brass, steel to brass or brass to copper. So like that the two combinations will be there. So in this problem it is clearly given two copper bars are there In between the copper bar, the steel bar is connected with the rigidly connected with the both the ends. So let me see the solution. So area of the steel bar is equal to area of the copper bar. So length of the steel bar is equal to length of the copper bar. So you are assuming this as equal. So temperature is 20 degree, and then ES value is given, EC value is also given. So normally we know that the coefficient of thermal expansion value is 12 into 10 to the power minus 6 degrees Celsius, and also for copper the value is 18 into 10 to the power minus 6 per degree Celsius. When compared to steel, the copper value is higher than the steel. So these are the assumptions. Okay. So when compared to the steel, the copper will expand more. So since copper value is more than the steel, the copper will expand more. So compression load in copper is equal to tension load in steel. So normally the steel will always actively carries the tensile force, tensile load. It allow only tensile. The steel will always elongate. It is an elongation process, so the tensile load is applicable for the steel. So when compared to the copper will not tensile, but when the load applies, it will get compressed. So it will expand more when compared to the steel. So here we have to calculate the load. So load can be written as stress into area in copper is equal to stress into area in steel. So area of the copper rods are AC is equal to, as it is both sides are in copper, inside we are having a steel. So AC1 plus AC2. So we can write 2 times of the stress into area is equal to 1 time of the stress in steel to area of the steel. So actual expansion of the steel is equal to actual expansion of the copper. So this is a formula. So free expansion of the steel plus expansion due to tensile stress in steel is equal to free expansion of the copper minus contraction due to compression stress in copper. So first thing is alpha S into TL plus P into L. So P can be strain into L. So strain can be written as stress by Young's modulus. Then alpha C into temperature into L minus sigma C by EC into L. So the whole equation is to be divided by L. So that we will get alpha S into T plus sigma S divided by ES is equal to alpha into C T minus sigma C by EC. So after getting this equation, we have to substitute these equations. Okay. So alpha of steel is 12 into 10 to the power minus 6 into the temperature can be written as initial final minus initial 320 minus 20 plus the sigma S can be written as 2 times of the sigma C, isn't it? So thus here denoted sigma C as so instead of sigma S we can write 2 times of the sigma C, okay, divided by Young's modulus value is equal to alpha C is 80 to 10 to the power 6 into 320 minus temperature minus sigma C value we don't know divided by the Young's modulus of the copper. So while substituting these things, if you simplify, you will get the stress in copper and then stress in steel. So after calculating all these things in this, while substituting, we don't know the value of sigma C. So after substituting this, we will get one side in terms of sigma C and another side a whole number. So while you reciprocal these two values, you will get the sigma c. We know the sigma c value can be written as sigma s can be written as 2 times of the sigma c, isn't it? So after finding sigma c value, that should be multiplied by 2, so that we will get 2 times of the sigma c is 188.58 Newton per mm square. So sigma c value we have arrived as 94.29 Newton per mm square. So these are the formulas we have derived this problems, isn't it? So by using these formulas, we have arrived at some problems. So yield stress is load at yield point divided by cross-sectional area. Ultimate stress is ultimate load by cross-sectional area. And then factor of safety is ultimate stress by permissible stress. So these are the composite bars. A composite bar may be defined as a bar. It may be a of two or more different materials joined together in such a manner that the system extends or contracts as one unit equally when subjected to tension or compression. So it may be contract or expand. Okay. So if it is a contraction, the extension or contraction of the bar is being equal. The total external load on the bar is equal to sum of the loads carried by the different materials. So different material symbols is denoted here. Whether either it may be brass, either it may be steel. So two combinations of the bars is called it as composite bar. So the load will be acted like this. So the length of the bar is denoted here, L. So in this we can easily find out the tensile load. So see here the steel, it is this is steel and this one is brass. So brass will always in a compression zone. We can easily identify the symbol here. It is a compressive zone, pushing action. So see here steel is in pulling action. It is a tensile zone. So we can see the problems on composite bars. A bar ABC is rigidly fixed at A and C, subjected to an axial force as shown in figure. Calculate the stresses in each part of the bar. Also calculate the displacement of the point B. Take ES is equal to 200 gigapascal and EB is equal to 100 gigapascal. So elongation of the steel bar will be equal to compression of the brass bar. So normally the elongation of the bar formula is P into L divided by E, whereas P is the load, L is the length of the bar, A is the area of the cross section and E is the Young's modulus. So first thing is we have to substitute the areas, we have to find out the area of the steel and then area of the brass. What is given in the problem, first thing is we have to find out the area calculations and convert that in terms of meter or mm. So here the diagram is given here. Steel bar is here and then brass bar is here. Both the bars are rigidly fixed, isn't it? Young's modulus of the steel is given 200 gigapascal and Young's modulus of the brass is given as 100 gigapascal. So length is given here, diameter is given. So normally the steel will be elongated. So it is in elongation portion and then the brass will be in the compressive zone. So after calculating all areas, we are substituting this. In the formula. So that is P into L divided by A into E. P into L divided by A into E. This is for steel and this is for brass. So while substituting, you will get PS in terms of 1.7571 PB. So we know the total load, isn't it? So PB plus PS is equal to total load. In the problem itself, it is given as 150 kilonewton. So instead of PS, we are substituting this 1.71 PB is equal to 150. So while simplifying, you will get the PB value. After getting the PB value, you are substituting this in the basic equation. so that you will also get the PS value as 94.65 kilonewton. So after finding the load in steel and then load in brass, we have to find out the stress in steel and then stress in brass. So stress in steel is the load in steel to the area of the steel. So after getting these values, just you are substituting here, you will get the value as 301.29 Newton per mm square as a stress in steel, and then stress in brass is, while substituting these values, you will get the value as 112.75 Newton per mm square as a stress in brass. So these are the stresses. Separately, we had find for the various material, that is stress and then brass. After finding this, we have to find out the change in length in stress. So change in length is in stress is also the same formula, PL divided by AE. So for steel, you are substituting the load in steel and then length of the steel bar and then area of the steel and then Young's modulus of the steel. So while calculating, you will get the answer as 0.9 mm. So the displacement of the point will be 0.9 mm. So in this section, we have studied the basic terms, stress, strain, and then elastic constants such as Young's modulus, bulk modulus, and then shear modulus. Terms and all, we have studied the terms, and then basic problems we have studied, then yield stress, ultimate stress, and then breaking stress, Hooke's law, and then basic terms and all we have studied, and example problems we have studied, and also thermal stresses, and then composite bars problems and all we have solved. So the next topic will be the same problem. The next topic is also belongs to the same problem, that is composite bars. So by using the same formula, that is elongation of the bar. So we know that elongation of the bar is delta is equal to PL by AA. So only thing is the diagram is varying. So in the previous problem we have studied the two combinations, that is steel and then brass. Here the same thing, but three extension bars are here. So the diameter of the middle bar is entirely enlarged when compared to the P3 first bar and then third bar. So here we have to find out the tensile zone and then compression zone and all. So after finding this, we will analyze the same method what we have studied before. So here the diameter of the bar is given as 30 mm diameter, and then second bar is 35 mm, and then third one is 30 mm diameter. So the load is given as 11 kilonewton, here 6, here 4, and then 3. So we can start from here. So first thing is it is in tensile zone, isn't it? So tensile zone 11. Here it is tensile zone. So 6. So the load is tensile, as it is tensile. We can subtract this 11 from 6 so that we will get the approximate value of load. So when you subtract this 11 minus 6, you will get the load as this point is 5 kilonewton. So this 5 kilonewton will be distributed, will be transferred to this point. So already here it is 4 kilonewton. So when you add this 5 plus 4, you will get 9. So this 9 is transferred to this point. So we know the load calculations. After finding this, we have to name it as P1 as 9 kilonewton, P2 as 5 kilonewton, and P3 as 11 kilonewton. So the Young's modulus is given as giganewton per meter square. As I already told that giganewton means 10 to the power 9. So it is in meter square, isn't it? So when you substitute here as it is a meter square, so 10 to the power 6, so that you will get 10 to the power 3 Newton per mm square. So when you convert that in terms of mm, the value will be 210 into 10 to the power 3 Newton per mm square. So each section we have to find out the area. So area 1, area 2 and then area 3. After finding these areas, we have to find out the delta L, that is elongation of the bar. So normally we know the elongation of the bar value as P into L divided by area. So for each section we are naming as 1, 2 and then 3. So we know the common value as B. So as it is a common, as the value is same, so we are taking the x modulus as a common and then we are substituting the values as like this. P1 into L1 divided by A1 plus P2 into L2 divided by A2 and then P3 into L3 divided by A3. So while substituting all these values, you will get the delta L value as 0.082 mm. So in stress strain relationship, the important thing is that we have to find out the elongation of the bar. So it is also one of the important topic to determine the elongation of the bar. So next thing is strain energy. So strain energy is nothing but we can imagine any spring. Example, a spring. So if you giving a more compression on both the sides, and after that you are releasing some after some time. So while compressing, the compressing energy will be stored some extent or some limit. So that stored energy we call it as strain energy. So the load is applied at the proportional limit and the strain energy is denoted by U. So U can be written as, so normally when the load is applied here, when the load is applied here, we can draw a graph between load and then stress. So we up to a 50 limit we will get like this extension. So the strain energy can be calculated by using this area. So as it is a triangular shape, so this is delta L. So the y-axis can be denoted as P. So as it is a triangular shape, we can calculate the measurement of this area. So that is half into B into H. So half into B is delta L and H is P. So you will get the answer as, we know the Young's modulus. Young's modulus is stress by strain. So stress can be again written as P by A delta L by L. So this L will be comes to this numerator. So half into, we can write this instead of delta L, we can write as delta L by E. Instead of this P, stress into area. So while simplifying this, you will get the U value as half into X into sigma square into AL divided by A. So the unit of strain energy will be expressed in Newton meter or kilonewton meter. So again one definition is that is proof resilience. So the maximum strain energy stored inside the material, we call it as proof resilience. So this proof resilience may be denoted as Umax. So Umax is half into sigma into L divided by E. So when the maximum stress increases, the strain energy also increases at the maximum. So in strain energy, there are three types of loads will be applicable. So one is gradually applied load. So the gradually applied load will be sigma is equal to P by A. So when second one is the strain energy is due to suddenly applied load. So suddenly applied load will be 2 times of the gradually applied load. So sigma is equal to 2p by A. Then next third one is it is due to impact load. So the impact load will be U is equal to P by A plus root of P by A the whole square plus 2EPH divided by AL. So whereas P is load in kilonewton, A is the area in mm square, E is Young's modulus, H is height of fall in mm, and L is length in mm. So within this, the first relationship is over. Stress and strain relationship is over. Thank you.